point of order, the Honourable Minister.
Is it Parliamentary Secretary?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, I believe this is a proper point of order, and it's just with the usage of inappropriate and unparliamentary language. I believe in one of the opening questions, the member from Carleton referred to the opposite of heaven in terms of raising a question, trying to emphasize the point. I don't think the usage of the term hell is parliamentary language, and I would ask him to retract it and for you to encourage.
What the hell was he thinking?
I appreciate the information that the point of order that has been brought forward. I will look at the Hansard to see what was exactly said.
What the hell
I would just remind members
thinking?
at this point, and I'll come back to the House if needed. I just would remind members to please be mindful of the language that they use to ensure that it is.
When the Prime Minister thought, who should I buy them from? He looked around the world and he said, I know, the country that's holding our people hostage. You can imagine the PRC Politburo filled with bureaucrats rolling around on the ground in gut-splitting laughter at this Prime Minister's naivete. Madam Speaker, simple question. When he wasted 100 days in the PRC, what the hell was he thinking?
Speaker, Canadians are tired of waiting for this government, tired of watching them miss every single climate target they set. But when the Liberals finally introduced climate accountability legislation, not only was it full of gaps, putting off accountability for a decade, but now the government seems to be putting off debate on the bill indefinitely. We have said we are willing to work constructively to improve this bill to make sure there is accountability built in before 2030. But now it's been months and there is no sign of this urgent piece of climate legislation coming back to the House. Why is the Prime Minister once again putting off climate action?
The Honourable Minister.
In this House, as well as the committee, in order to deliver to Canadians the best possible piece of legislation we can. We know that we're doing it for our kids and our grandkids, and we want to get it right. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
Madam Speaker, this morning the government released new modelling with regard to the spread of variants in Canada, and the government has suggested that more lockdowns are needed. But there's something that could fix this problem, and it's a vaccine. The CBC's John Paul Tasker just tweeted that Dr. Theresa Tam said this morning, for the next few months, we're not going to have a lot of people vaccinated. That's a fact. So with today's modelling, are the Liberals admitting that their failure to vaccinate Canadians has made Canada vulnerable to variants and is going to create more lockdowns?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Canadians can be proud that we've secured one of the strongest vaccine portfolios in the world, more doses per capita than any other country. Health Canada regulators have been working around the clock to complete a thorough and independent review of vaccine candidates. And Madam Speaker, it's with a little bit of pride that I tell the House that we have now sent 1.56 million vaccines to provinces and territories. And we are on track to ensure that every Canadian who wants a vaccine can get one by September. Madam Speaker, we will continue to have the backs of Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
I think the member just said he is proud of the fact that modeling shows that our country is going to have an extreme spread of the variant, that we are going to have to be facing more lockdowns, and that the head of the Public Health Agency just said for the next few months, we're not going to have a lot of people vaccinated. That's a fact. A portfolio doesn't mean vaccines are here right now, and the government has left us in a tinderbox situation where these variants, the modeling that they're showing, might lead to more lockdowns, more lives lost, and more jobs lost. This is crazy. Will the government admit their failure and tell us what they're doing to fix this problem?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you again, Madam Speaker. As I said earlier, we're taking a multi-layered approach to keep Canadians safe. We're working, as we have from the start, with provinces and territories to protect our communities from outbreaks of these new COVID-19 variants. And as part of that work, Madam Speaker, we did announce $53 million to create a variants of concern strategy, which does increase our monitoring and surveillance of new COVID-19 variants in Canada. We will partner with experts in research and public health, and this will increase our ability to detect, track, and address outbreaks of COVID-19 variants in Canada.
L'honorable député de Chicoutimi.
The Honourable Member for Chicoutimi. Madam Speaker, today marks the beginning of an advertising campaign for dairy, poultry, and egg processors. Since 2015, these groups have been waiting for compensation from the government. Following the free trade agreement with Europe and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the Liberals have had 6 years to deliver the goods. They didn't do it despite their promises. The government must pay the promised compensation to our local processors. What are they waiting for?
Minister. L'honorable ministre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the honourable member for his question. Canada's supply-managed dairy and poultry and egg farmers play a critical role in keeping our rural communities vibrant. In order to offer dairy farmers more certainty, our government announced that the remaining $1.4 billion of compensation will be delivered over a timeline of 3 years. For Canada's 4,800 chicken, egg, broiler, and hatching egg and turkey farmers, our government also announced $691 million for a 10-year program. We'll always be there to defend supply management and will not make any further market access concessions. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I tweeted out that we finally had you on the show, and we've been trying to make this happen for quite some time. I mean, thousands of responses.
He took me to a public library, and I had no idea what a public library was. Wow. I was 8 years old. When you start getting in the habit of reading when you're 8 years old, that's a different ballgame than if you have to wait till you're a teenager, and it's too late now.